Higgins quit because he was a bit crazy. You're not a bit crazy, are you? These paintings, they're just paper and pigment, nothing else. See you in the morning. Sorry, I forgot to mention. If anyone does try to break in, then don't try and be a hero. Just call the police and run. Okay? Stay safe.
Welcome to Merlehaven's Unsolved Mysteries. Tonight, we'll be trying to solve the murder of Merlehaven's most famous artist, Mordecai Gray, brutally murdered in his loft last year, on the night of All Hallows' Eve. Gray had been painting 6 portraitures at the time. They were all suspects according to Justice Hoon, but Hoon was unable to convict any of them. Could there still be a killer on the loose? Was it Dominique Serron, the lush burlesque dancer? Or Otto Pipistrel, our now famously cancelled ventriloquist? Or perhaps Lilith Rendell, the island's only undertaker? Gray was also painting Sunday Finch, our twinless tennis star, Xavier Hahn, the reclusive clockmaker, and finally, Vice Justice Catherine Myers. Perhaps Justice Hoon was covering up for his understudy. We have all the juicy details coming up, but before we discuss those murderous muses, let's delve into the mind of a killer by retracing their footsteps on that fateful day.
Welcome to Gallery Argenta. I'm Jamie, your jovial art museum information educator. Push my buttons and see how I respond. The loop depicts the main road encircling Merlehaven that runs around the island and back again in the shape of a Mobius strip. Gray said that if you stand still for long enough on the loop, you'll meet everyone on the island. Better known as her alter ego, Miss Moonstruck, talented dancer Dominique Serron regularly performs her bewitching blend of ballet and burlesque at the Moonstruck Lounge. At one time set for stardom on the West End stage, Dominique's path took an unexpected turn due to a tragic death in the family, but London's loss soon became Merlehaven's gain. As the last remaining funeral director on the island, Lilith Rendell ferries Merlehaven's souls to their final destination. Angel to the bereaved, she comforts those left behind, whilst pioneering carbon-neutral cremations and burials using compostable coffins. Otto and Pip are Merlehaven's most famous comedy duo, having secured Best Comedic Performance for 3 years running at the prestigious Golden Auk Awards. Pip also has his own solo career, which includes a best-selling children's book and a cartoon series based on the Pip is Hip universe. Professor Catherine Myers is Merlehaven's current Vice Justice, serving under Justice Hoon, and is directly responsible for maintaining criminal laws and rehabilitating offenders. She's also the mastermind behind Merlehaven Manor, the island's only penitentiary, allowing offenders to rehabilitate closer to home instead of being sent overseas. Sunday and Monday, Merlehaven's most remarkable twins, were already well known as the miracle test-tube daughters of geneticists Goddard and Constance Finch. But they found fame in their own right on the tennis court, quickly becoming the world's youngest and most memorable doubles champions. Perfectionist surgeon turned clockmaker Xavier Hahn is Merlehaven's most in-demand artisan. He took a small hiatus when his mother died last year, and more recently after divorcing his wife Caroline. But his reclusiveness and rare output has made him more in demand than ever. Abernathy's Bluff is the most inhospitable rock face on the island, luring countless mountaineers to their death every year. Whilst potentially deadly for the people that take part in the sport, it's supplied millions of pounds worth of revenue to Merlehaven in tourism. This arresting dreamscape was the second painting in Gray's Dream Period. Mordecai never revealed what the painting was supposed to represent, and only spoke about it in one rare interview, where he claimed that he could still hear that infernal tick, tick, tick. Controversially, some people say they can see pagan imagery in the piece. During an excavation of the henge in 2011, a hive of secret passageways and rooms was found running all the way to the Aurora Woods and beyond. This giant crystal ball is one of the few artifacts recovered during the dig, and due to the ban on all paraphernalia of divination, is now safely homed at Gallery Argenta. Don't try to see anything in it. That would be illegal. Crystal balls were banned on Merlehaven in the mid-1970s, along with all paraphernalia of divination, and now only appear in painted form or behind secure enclosures for educational purposes. The triumvirate, who jointly agreed to the necessity of the new law, cited the protection of mental health as the primary reason. generally recognised as one of Mordecai Gray's more whimsical pieces, this painting depicts Marie's farm in 1975, when farmer Marie Abernathy claimed she woke up to find all her chickens were levitating, as if lifted by an invisible hand. Unsurprisingly, Marie's story was met with ridicule, with some blaming it on the work of a poultrygeist, while others called for an exorcist. Now a spectacle for tourists, Merlehaven's coal mines were operational for over 2 decades before being shut down. Mallow coal is exclusive to Merlehaven, a type of coal that is spongy to the touch and burns brighter and longer than hard coal. However, the life expectancy of a Mallow coal miner was around 2 years, and because of this, mining was made illegal in 1975. During the freak fish storm of 1976, the first mayor of Merlehaven was hit on the head by Majesty, breaking his neck and ending his reign for good. Some scholars believe the fish storm was caused by a Concorde flight from England, whilst others point to a more sinister ceremony near the henge. Either way, Mayor Spence sleeps with the fishes now. This was the last painting from Gray's dream period, and the last piece he worked on before the 6 portraits that preceded his death. Doorways are said to represent passages and the transition from one life to the next. Notably, Gray was recorded saying that he'd passed through a gateway through which he could not return. Originally an unorganised burial ground for the first settlers, the plot was turned into the largest solitary graveyard on the island, with thousands of headstones honouring the dead. Only Merlehaven residents with pre-booked plots can be buried here now. Merlehaven is famously close to the spirit world, with many saying the fabric of the universe is stretched unnaturally thin here. Gray believed that most past inhabitants of Merlehaven were still on the island, including his mother. The chalk cellars are home to one of Merlehaven's largest exports, Merle Port wine. Using water from a natural spring in the Aurora Woods, the wine is said to have great healing and sometimes hallucinogenic properties. It's also the only alcohol that licensed premises can serve at all times of the day. A staple of popular folklore, the so-called Butcher of Merlehaven was the villain of many tales of missing pets, vanished children, and cannibalism. The island's modern-day butcher, however, takes a more cosmopolitan approach and has recently begun working with a lab that offers synthesized meat. Although the cause of the undulating hills' hypnotic rise and fall has yet to be found, geologists believe it's shaped by underground thermodynamics. Digging down has proved impossible, as the hill's rubber-like surface is impenetrable, and visitors who attempt the trip frequently experience blackouts and other disturbing side effects.
Wake up. Wake up. Oh, wake up. Yes. I'm Higgins, and I stopped questioning why or how this place existed a long time ago. I've updated the recordings with the truth for your listening pleasure. Xavier Hahn hardly finished anything he started. His mother hated him, his wife tried to kill him, and like a smitten schoolboy, he fell in love with his teacher. Dominique, the burlesque ballerina. Whilst it seemed like everything was against her, I think we all know Dominique only had herself to blame. Sunday and Monday Finch, spoiled brats whose names were almost as pretentious as they were. They thought they were so perfect, but they were born with fatal flaws. Lilith Rendell ate up everyone and everything that got in her way. If you knew her real secret, you'd be as good as dead. But on the bright side, she'd handle everything for you. Vice Justice Catherine Myers, a narcissistic megalomaniac who thrives on controlling others. Fortunately, Mordecai managed to shake off her spell. Otto Pipistrel, a drunken womanizer who became increasingly jealous of the puppet he'd created. A puppet that had outgrown its master and was pulling its own strings.
Yes, very Mona Lisa. No, they don't. What you're talking about is more likely psychometry. I felt the same thing when I was working the night shift. I could pick up a painting and it would show me a memory of itself. Perhaps it's really strong in you, and you think that you can see it. Don't freak out. Stop touching the paintings. Higgins was, seeing things that weren't there. Hallucinations. He'd often point in the middle of a wall and say there was a room behind it. I think it was probably the sledgehammer incident that got him fired. Oh, sorry, quit. Not fired. I've said too much. Gallery Argenta's been in the Argenta family for over 100 years. Originally it was used exclusively to show and sell the artwork from the family. But nowadays Miss Argenta opens it up to the public. I get to choose most of the exhibits myself. Well, I pick a handful and then she picks from those, but same difference.
Thank you for calling the TIPS hotline. TIPS hotline can reveal one of the innocent suspects. This is a paid-for service. Please hang up, insert payment, and redial. Have a nice day.
The portal was perfect. And on the side of the lighthouse, you're so thoughtful. The Starlings groomed witches. Still do. I was the last sacrifice, though. We need the blood of 6 royals. Lilith is pure of heart, but corrupt of soul.
You see them too, don't you?
Gray's killer definitely knew him. Why? Because the crime scene had no signs of forced entry or exit, and only his coveted diamond orc figurine was missing. Just as Hoon, who was deputizing at the time, surmised the killer must have used a key. How did they get that key? Hoon had 2 theories. Firstly, perhaps Gray had befriended one of his subjects, or was having a romantic relationship with one, and thus had given them a key. Secondly, and more plausibly, perhaps the killer had simply found Mordecai's spare key. He kept it attached to a powerful magnet, out of sight, but easily within reach, above his doorway.
I'm excited by the thought of my portrait hanging in the gallery. Who knows? It could be worth millions one day. I was on the cover of our West End musical, so I must have a pretty face. Apparently, dropping out of a leading role a week before opening doesn't go down too well in the West End. I'm not going to blow it this time. I've got another audition on the 1st of November. A friend of mine pulled some strings. Fans, feathers, scarves. I'm never fully nude. Justice Hoon wouldn't allow it. Just a tease here and there. Let their imaginations fill in the rest.
There's a secret compartment in Pip that I keep things in. That's my arse! I'm not going to say where it is, or it wouldn't be a secret, would it? It's in the usual place. Oh, he's the famous one. And I just made him out of bits. When they argued, I'd hide in my room, building Pip. I didn't have an imaginary friend, but I just spoke for him. And then we chatted, like, all the time. And the rest is history. We're in London next week, then Tokyo, then New York. Drug dealer! Daphne takes care of all of it. Speak for yourself! All I have to do is turn up. Because I do all the work. We're
He murdered both my parents and was never caught. My whole family dead. I was 13. I guess it stirred a passion in me.
Those diamond animals you have lying around, they must be worth something. I remember buying a diamond once. An engagement ring. Proposed at the beach at Bali. I thought it would warm Caroline up. It didn't. Mother hated me being a clockmaker. She wanted her son to be a surgeon. I was a massive disappointment to her. No children. Mother's dead. There was Caroline for a while, but I'm pretty much all alone now.
I worked briefly for the Crown Prosecution Service in London. I thought it would be my dream job. But financial crimes were always given the strongest sentences, whilst crimes of the flesh were barely noticed. I still remember Miss Darcy's dream defence. Blood diamonds are illegal, Maudie. Are you seriously telling me that that great orc is kosher?
Well, we both want to be the best in the world. I imagine people think that Monday's the better player, but she's always been weaker. Nausea, fatigue, that sort of thing. I try not to make a big deal out of it. Well, passion's important, but do you know what else you need? Money. Preferably lots of it. We have private courts and can afford private coaches, so we're very lucky. But it's essential if we're going to be the best in the world.
Well, we never fight, do we?
I always think that we were forced to spend so much time apart before we were born, that we've been making up for it ever since.
I think my favourite piece is Majesty. The giant fish that fell out of the sky and killed our oppressive leader. What's not to love? Oh, sorry. Should have said one of your paintings, shouldn't I? Uncle Steve's the headless horseman, not me. When he died, Dad took over and changed the name from Stewart's to Rendell's. Tough times. Lots of arguments.
People can't just be happy anymore, can they? There's no zen. Enjoying just being. I wish there was some way I could just speed up the grieving process. Jenna owns marigolds. In the theatre district, she does the best flowers. We're both dressing up for Halloween. She's going to be a sunflower, and I'm thinking maybe a zombie or a cheerleader.
I was a zombie after Dad died. I don't think I could have gone back to London then, even if they'd wanted me. Everything got on top of me. I only snapped out of it when I met Adam. He looks after me.
Brains. Did you know eating a person is about as risky as eating any other type of omnivore? Just not the brain. Don't eat the brain. That could make you very ill.
I do like the odd drink. He orders 20 and drinks every other one. I like zombie cocktails. Looks like one. You can talk. Not when you're hammered.
The Luxairis have a symbol that, roughly translated, means I zombie. It's from an incantation that puts the caster out of body so they can move freely in space. But if the spell fails, it leaves you just like that, a zombie.
We've been called freaks, aberrations, mutants, zombies. I just smile.
She nudged me in the theatre, and the incision went too deep. Stopped the blood to his brain. Essentially zombified him. I think Caroline nudged me on purpose, to be honest. She liked a bit of murder.
Oh, I'm definitely a foodie. Money was a bit tight when I was younger, and it instilled me with this kind of quick or hungry mentality.
mum left when I was 9 and my dad died last year. Black lung. So it's just me. Oh, and Adam, my fiancé. He teaches English. Well, it wasn't an accident. They knew the risks. He didn't even spend that long down there. A few days, maybe? He was just supposed to be collecting some coal samples. 3 months later, he was dead.
So there's this woman that comes to all of my shows, and I don't know anything about her. And I mean all of my shows, like here, London, Montreal, Cologne. And she's caught my eye, but every time a show finishes and I come out to look for her, she's just gone, like disappeared. Oh, women. I love them all. At the same time, I mean, they're just so beautiful and complex and basically like us, but so much sexier. Way to objectify. I don't think I'm ever going to settle down. He's polyamorous. They just don't know it yet.
Argenta is a complete gem, isn't she? The Argentas and the Myers have been family friends for decades. They took me in after my parents were gone and paid for my tuition in London. There are a lot of journalists wanting to see what goes on at the manor. We've become famous. I'm arranging several open days. Perhaps you could come, Maudie, to say a few words?
Father said it looked like he'd been poisoned. Who could do such a thing? Mother found him in the garden. We weren't even allowed to see him. No. But we share Orlando between us now, don't we? And he really is the most spoiled cat. I can't remember a time when we weren't famous. I remember an interviewer asking us once if we felt like we were the same person. What sort of question is that to ask an 8-year-old? How would you even know? We have our fans, but most people just aren't comfortable with the idea of cloning.
I'd like to live a long and fruitful life, but I've inherited type 3 von Willebrands and type 2 diabetes from my mother. That's not a great combination. Nick my toe before bed, and tomorrow you shall find me a grave man. Kyoko said if I ever cut myself in anger, if there was blood in a piece I was working on, I should destroy it. She said it would attract lost souls and create a Zorigami, a possessed clock.
Yes.
Mordecai Gray is the artist who was murdered last year. It's the main exhibition at the moment. I think you've probably just seen that phrase somewhere around the gallery.
Well, they should have warned him. Whatever made all of those miners get sick was still down there. I couldn't afford to do anything about it, so they just got away with it.
Johnson's went out of business because they kept losing bits of their dead. Body parts, organs, all just going missing. I don't think their heart was in it.
I don't want to kill the mood or anything, but my manager says if this portrait makes me look stupid, she's going to sue. You know, Daphne, she's hardcore. Doesn't want anything to, you know, affect my fame.
Jason hadn't been fully rehabilitated. He needed more help. He escaped into the community, and there isn't much more I'm allowed to say on the matter. There was a full investigation by the Justice Department that decided our security measures were appropriate.
The surrogate didn't take the same care with Monday as Mother did with me. We were treated equally from the moment we were born, but these things do make a difference, you know. Nature versus nurture. It doesn't seem to affect her on the court, though, so I suppose that's what counts.
Ricardo Hollander. That was the last person I killed. Accidentally, of course. Heart surgeons need to be precise, Mordecai. Incisions I made could make the difference between months or years. But it's a factory line. They want the jobs done quickly, not well. I only do perfect.
Did he give you a key?
No.
How did you get in?
Well, the usual way. I knocked and Mordecai opened the door. He had a lot of valuables in there, so I don't think he'd trust me with a key. We weren't exactly close.
I had a locksmith make 2 keys for Mordecai and change the lock.
We only found one.
Well, then you've still got one to find.
Do you have a key?
No. Why would I? He keeps one above the doorway.
You knew about the spare?
Didn't everyone?
I'd used it once, months ago. I mean, I'd left Pip there and needed to get him for a gig.
Did you keep the key?
Nah. Actually, now you mention it, I can't remember. Maybe I've still got it.
I asked him to lock the door during our sessions to make sure nobody could get in. That's when he told me about the spare key.
Ever use it?
I'm Vice Justice. I don't need a key. Doors simply open for me.
Did Mordecai give you a key to his studio?
No.
What about your sister?
No.
It says here you and your sister received youth cautions for unlawful entry a few years ago.
Yes, but that was false. Father was just trying to teach us a lesson. He got one of his friends to dress up like a police officer to scare us. That wasn't pretend.
I told him to get one, so yes, I knew about the spare key.
Did you ever use it?
A couple of times, yes. That man was probably late to his own funeral.
Did you go to his funeral?
No. Did you?
Oh no! Yes!
I'll take care of Sunday's parents before their next iteration.
Have you been home yet? You look... I take it nothing happened last night. If you see anything strange, you let me know. Anything, okay? I'll be in later. Hopefully.
One surprising fact in Merlehaven's natural history is the dramatic increase in starlings populating the island. Numbers of these iridescent birds have massively declined on the UK mainland, yet Merlehaven seems to attract more and more every day, leading to several spectacular and prophetic murmurations. What magic power does the island hold over these birds? On the 16th of April 1953, the crew of a fishing trawler first discovered Merlehaven Island. This day would come to be known as Merlehaven Day, the island's birthday, and every year it's celebrated with the arrival of the Auk Fair. Native to Merlehaven, the wild boar is generally harmless, though sometimes still hunted for sport. It's a frowned-upon activity that the triumvirate continuously consider banning, and Gray was against the hunt too. His painting aimed to bring more eyes onto their plight. The Tornado del Luna is Gray's depiction of a freak tornado that occurred in 1969, just after Apollo 11 touched down on the moon. The more superstitious inhabitants of Merlehaven thought it was a sign from Mother Earth that man should not be permitted to destroy the moon as it had her. Revenge of the Lake Woman is another work from Gray's dream period, depicting a woman rising from the lake in Aurora Woods. Some people speculate it's semi-autobiographical, as Gray's mother drowned in the same place when he was just 5 years old. No one knows who she is, but rumours abound. Mordecai's first love? His first wife? An ancestor? But why all the blood? Endearingly nicknamed the Mordecai Lisa, some say she bears a striking resemblance to his mother.
Miss Argenta just called me to ask for one of the Grey portraits. Just pick any one of the 6 and leave it in reception. It's going away to be tested for authenticity, whatever that means. I think they all look hideous, so they're probably all authentic.
Something has changed. Starlings are Earth's spiritual guardians that often migrate to places where immense evil is brewing. In Merlehaven's case, they're gathering on the very creature that rose out of the ocean almost 70 years ago. What do they know that we don't? The drunken pirates that founded Merlehaven didn't even know what sea they were sailing in, let alone day of the week. According to geologists, they've fairly accurately concluded Merlehaven's actual birthday is the 1st of February, or the 28th of November, or the 9th of December. It's definitely one of those three. Every year, on the night before Halloween, the Triumvirate organizes a secret boar hunt as a peace tribute to the incoming wave of spirits. They will never ban boar hunting unless it looks like they might run out of boars. It wasn't a freak tornado. Marcus J. McCleary, a famous coal miner who lasted 5 years in the depths, was disgruntled that people were saying the soil of the undulating hills couldn't be penetrated by anything. Using a giant mining drill, Marcus managed to dig a hole the size of a pencil tip, but it then erupted into a huge rip that spewed out the tornado before sealing itself up again. Gray idolized and adored his mother, whom he never really met, and said she would rise again and take back what was hers. He never did mention what that was, but based on what happened, maybe she was coming back for him. See how her mysterious eyes follow you around the room? I know her name, and I'm not going to tell you. Mordecai's depiction of a spirit was commissioned as an advertising poster and postcard for the Merlehaven Centre for Tourism. There's nothing remotely spooky or accurate about it. The Triumvirate tried to out-and-out ban burials decades ago, but that kicked off a revolution from grieving Merlers. So instead, they passed a law limiting the size of the burial ground and gave council aid to Merlers who cremated their relatives. If you don't fall into either of those categories, you're either buried at sea or fed to the undulating hills. Mordecai's dream period diaries are largely incomprehensible, but he often described traveling through doorways and seeing many things he was unable to describe. One such tale was of a young girl called Kyra, who insisted she was his charge even though he had no recollection of her. Merlehaven doesn't have coal. Mallow coal is basically the guts of the island. It is, like they said, very powerful and supernatural. But the island wasn't very happy having its guts removed, and soon found ways to kill the miners trying to disembowel it. The mines still ooze mallow coal from time to time, where the rock face is at its weakest. It was actually Angel Abernathy, Marie's daughter, that caused all those chickens to levitate. Marie knew that too, because Angel had been trying to cast a scrying spell to find her lost basset hound, but she'd accidentally summoned a rather grumpy spirit instead. This wouldn't have been a problem had there not been so many witnesses, along with the triumvirate having just criminalized all forms of divination. They ate Majesty, you know. After saving Merlehaven from Mayor Spence, Majesty was spit-roasted by the Argenta family over a campfire at the Henge. Doesn't say that in the brochure, does it? From what I can tell, the catacombs under the Henge served as a safe place for the witches of Merlehaven for years. The excavation in 2011 was paid for by the Argenta family. I suppose they'd moved their stuff out by then. Banning all paraphernalia of divination was passed to stop the dead talking about what Mayor Spence had done to them. The triumvirate did what it always does. It protected itself, leaving regular people at the mercy of the afterlife without any ability to communicate with it. It's no surprise that over 90% of Merlehaven tourists have already tasted the pleasures of Merle port wine before their arrival. It's almost as if it contained an ingredient that was luring them here. The Butcher of Merlehaven has always been one of the most respected inhabitants, with that title being passed down generationally and still unsullied. The current owners are the Milgrams. Their family crest motto is "Eat the Rich," which sounds pretty fair, considering the state of the world today. Every year, on the night before Halloween, the Triumvirate organizes a secret boar hunt as a peace tribute to the incoming wave of spirits. They will never ban boar hunting unless it looks like they might run out of boars. That rubber-like surface on the undulating hills is in fact the skin of the North Sea creature that we're currently standing on. Merlehaven isn't an island. It's a monstrous, godlike octopus that's taking a bath. Most of Mordecai's dream works were created autonomically, channeling the will and the way of the heart of Merlehaven itself. The future is a message to the rest of the planet, showing a clock ticking in Mother Nature, superimposed with the rituals of humanity, depicted as a pentagram. It's a prediction of death by climate change. Nothing more, nothing less. Real Merlers call Abernathy's bluff Lover's Muff, because of all the broken hearts that leap from the precipice into the salty embrace of the sea below. A few people even get pushed. Our drunken crab-fishing forefathers couldn't build a road in a straight line, hence the loop.
As you might have realized by now, Mordecai Grey was not having a great Halloween. After being incapacitated, Gray's assailant proceeded to tie him to a chair with a piece of climbing rope that was found at the scene. Gray himself was not a climber, and there was no reason to believe the rope had started life in his loft. A later analysis concluded the murderer had some kind of chalk residue on their hands that had been transferred to the rope during bondage. Whilst chalk is commonly used as a component of many things, the forensics examiner was adamant they were looking for a killer who either weightlifted at Merlehaven's gym, was a rock climber, or a patron of Daxon's sporting goods. But doesn't it also mean that our murder was premeditated? Whoever tied Mordecai up had something they wanted to say to him before dealing the final blow.
Sorry. Sitting still is making me pretty crazy. My muscles get all knotted up. Maybe that's why I dance. Some people work out. Adam runs. My dad climbed. Do you do any sport?
Don't tell anyone what I said, please. I'm not ashamed of it. I just think the world isn't quite ready for it yet. The butcher's agreed to settle lab-grown burgers, but she's not happy about the celeb ones. We've already paid for the stem cells, though. Wouldn't you like to eat a minor celebrity? There's a secret Undertaker's oath. The bodies of the dead, they must be respected. They're all people's loved ones, not toys to play with, so respectfully, no. If you want to paint still life, get someone to sit still.
When I was a boy, my father used to chase me through the woods with rope and a hunting rifle. He'd give me 30 seconds, and then I'd hear a shot. I learned to hold my breath and keep my muscles still. Surgical precision. It's not sport though, is it? Hunting your children. I initially thought my exhaustion was brucellosis from hunting boar in the Algiers. But it's genetic, Mordecai. Von Willebrand's disease. Sounds like I'm some kind of promiscuous playboy, doesn't it? You can travel to the mainland and knock yourself out with New Age stuff, but divination has been illegal here for decades. You know what they say about the spirit world in Merlhaven? That's why it's banned. I'm fine cutting people and using syringes, but needles were Caroline's thing. I used to spy on her, dancing to old records. She loved the sound of the needle scratching the vinyl.
Sorry. Sitting still is making me pretty crazy. My muscles get all knotted up. Maybe that's why I dance. Some people work out. Adam runs. My dad climbed. Do you do any sport? Cherry tried out for the lead role that I ended up getting. She could have kept this one for herself, but she persuaded them to let me audition. It's kind, right? She's a good person. But I'm still glad I beat her. See, I'm a snake.
I own a yacht. Doesn't everyone nowadays? We're a tiny island. And for residents here, a yacht is basically like having a car. I don't need crew to sail it either. I can do it all on my own. That's the only thing that Justice Hoon and I don't see eye to eye on. I don't think paraphernalia of divination should remain criminalised. They were extraordinary times that led to that law. That's the only thing that Justice Hoon and I don't see eye to eye on. I don't think paraphernalia of divination should remain criminalised. They were extraordinary times that led to that law. Come closer. Look into my eyes. Deep into my eyes. Listen to my voice. Sebori Malavik. Sebori Malavik. Nod if you understand.
I don't have time to do anything on tour. Too drunk. I'll do weights, ounces. Well, I'm getting help for that.
I'm gonna get fostered.
Layla was a fan. We slept together for a while until she got pregnant. I mean, I probably would have stopped either way. The kid didn't make it. If you're in Dubai with a dead girl in your bedroom, you better hope that your story checks out. The truth is, I was so hammered, I probably threw the pills at her. I mean, I didn't tell the police that, you know, just in case I was implicated. I just said they were hers. I mean, honestly, if you want to pay for it, you can have it. Do you use people's blood in all your paintings? I need the money.
He's pimping me out.
They don't want me.
What a surprise.
I mean, do you care they're splitting us up?
Divide and conquer.
I guess it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, for me.
I've been reading up on you, Mordecai Grey. Your paintings are worth thousands, tens of thousands. You've got connections all around the world. I want to make a deal.
Mrs. Marshall wanted to see her husband's body before it had been fully prepared. She begged to do it herself, so I left for a while. But then when I came back, the body had gone. Allegedly, she taxidermied him, stood him in her hallway.
Sure, I'll take my money for the blood now, but I still need my half of the painting when you sell it. You promise? Don't screw me over, Mordecai. I want to be famous. I want everyone to know my name. I looked it up. If you dream about a snake, it means there's something toxic in your environment. But in my dream, I was the snake. So maybe you should paint me as a snake, Mordecai. It would be the truth. I know what I'm doing. I just don't care anymore. Think of it as an investment in the arts. You're sponsoring a future star. The first award I win, I'll be sure to thank you.
It's pretty grim. I use these spiky contact lenses that go onto their eyeballs, and then it kind of grips the eyelid with little fish hooks to keep them in place. It's best not to think too much about what goes on to make the dead look normal. A lot of pallbearers go to the gym. It's not for vanity. A loaded coffin can be quite heavy. I go very occasionally. Once a year, maybe.
I knocked my back out at one point, doing weights.
Are you fat shaming me?
I had a knot in my back that took weeks to massage out.
That's not all she massaged out, is it?
Kim Park. She's spreading lies about the manor, saying we're torturing inmates, starving them. Nobody reads her little paper anyway, but it's harmful nonetheless. The Baconian is looking for someone to paint their ceilings. Would you like me to recommend you? We can meet up in the theatre district once I have the details. He was dead. Drowned in the Aurora woods. I think Jason was murdered, like your mother.
Nurse Caroline. My Caroline. She was spying on me. She reported back all my failed surgeries, and how my insistence on perfection killed them all. She said she did it for me. I was deregistered immediately. It's fortuitous I live nearby, but Melhaven only has 1,000 inhabitants, so everybody is pretty close, geographically speaking.
Yes.
How did you know about Higgins? Wait, did I tell you? Yeah, it was probably me. Higgins was the security guard for 6 months before you arrived. He was our 6th guard, actually. His address was 6 St. Catherine's Court, Maidstone. 666. I'm having an epiphany. I'll be right back.
A ventriloquist? I always thought he was a magician. He looks shifty, like he's hiding something. I've seen him in the bar a couple times. Maybe he's the one who's been stealing things.
He pushed both kids over, then jumped himself. Told them that they could fly. Grief makes you do crazy things if you ignore it. Mr. Britton is in hell now.
So, I've been working on some card tricks.
It's called credit card fraud.
I was wondering if you might draw something for me on a card.
Like a phone number?
Ashley, yeah. Can I have your phone number?
Some say it's a protection spell. We have a little ceremony at the henge each Halloween to stop... Well, you know about Majesty, the fish that killed the mayor?
Blood magic is illegal on Belhaven, as is all divination. So if that's what you're doing, you need to stop. Oh, and also, just stop. Why would you do that? You might need some kind of help, Mordecai.
Have you recently bought anything from Daxon's?
No.
Work out at the gym?
No.
Are you a rock climber, Miss Sarand?
In the past, when I was younger, but not anymore.
But you still have climbing rope?
My dad had some climbing gear, but that's now all in boxes.
I don't own any rope. Stan lowers the coffins, he owns the rope.
Ever been to the gym?
Is that your best chat-up line?
Answer the question, please.
Not for at least a year. You can check with them.
Do you rock climb?
No, you know I don't. What is going on?
I'm sure they've already told you. I've been going to the gym every week since rehab.
Ever dust your hands before lifting?
Yeah, I'm a sweaty guy.
That's all we needed to know.
That's interesting, but I'm not a patron of either of those stores.
Do you like rock climbing?
No, it's a blight. I keep deauthorizing zones for rock climbing. Too messy when they fall.
Yes, I have brought rope from there in the past.
That same type of rope was used on Mr. Grey.
Melhaven's a small place. If you have any rope, it's probably the same.
You bought rope the week before Halloween.
I had some wood that needed tying up.
Have you recently bought anything from Daxon's?
No.
Work out at the gym?
No.
Are you a rock climber, Miss Sarand?
In the past, when I was younger, but not anymore.
But you still have climbing rope?
My dad had some climbing gear, but that's now all in boxes.
Yes.
See that Dominique gets her money. She deserves to leave this place.
I know. We've had tons of visitors lately. I think Mordecai's creepy paintings coupled with Halloween are working perfectly. Plus his murder, obviously. And the fact they just reopened the case. Don't worry. You are night watch only. You don't have to deal with any customers. Only the shady sort that come at night.
The Henge is a rock formation that was allegedly home to the last ill-fated great auk before being consumed by the founding fissures. The distance and angle of each stone also correlates with the Fibonacci sequence, which spiritual people believe affords it a great focus of power. The Merlehaven Butterfly Park and Centre for Tourism is on the north coast of the island and is home to over 2,000 exotic butterflies from all over the world. Merlehaven has its own unique butterfly species too, a merlefly, which resembles a red admiral but with asymmetrical markings on its wings. Gray's painting of the Aurora Woods is often compared to Edvard Munch's The Scream for the curvature they share. But Merlehaven residents have noticed another pattern. For them, the Aurora Woods is sister to the undulating hills, and they do share physical borders. Saviour's bell was originally sounded to warn islanders of trouble at sea, but its ringing soon became synonymous with drownings instead. Gray's painting depicts Saviour's bell in action at Merlehaven docks, but it was dismantled in 1975 when it was acquired by Gallery Argenta. Despite its removal, some say they can still hear its doleful chimes on stormy nights. Merlehaven welcomes people of all religions, and today, Merlehaven Chapel is at the heart of the community, hosting weddings, burials, and ceremonies that mark the quarter and cross-quarter moons. Mordecai frequented the chapel as a child, up until his mother died. Merlehaven Island was discovered in 1953 by crab fishermen who'd sailed too far out of the wash. The island was populated by many great auk, even though they had been declared extinct over 100 years before. These penguin-like creatures are still celebrated in Merlehaven's annual Auk Festival.
Can you do me a favour? I've got someone interested in one of the Grey portraits. They want to buy one, but they're just not sure which one. They've asked me to choose, but I think they're all horrible. Can you pick one for me and hang it in reception? Just pick whichever one you fancy or hate the least. I'll be by later to pick it up.
find the crystal ball. Everyone knows Henge is used by the Luxyrus cult as a summoning circle to bring forth whatever their latest fancy is. It was, however, created by a man-made explosion during the founding fishers' search for coal. The Butterfly Park is incandescently beautiful with its water fountains and Art Nouveau sculptures, and the most wonderful place to relax. That is, until you realize that the merlefly is actually carnivorous, like the Pheniceca tarquinius, and enjoys gnawing on its bedfellows. The Aurora Woods really do scream. Allegedly, due to their strange molecular structure, they let out an unpleasant shrieking sound each time they are hit by an axe. I think it's more to do with all the drownings they've seen. Either way, I'd use a chainsaw. Saviour's Bell still gets rung by the unhappy spirits of Merlehaven, mostly witches who were drowned by the Triumvirate in the Aurora trials. Mayor Spence ordered the bell to be destroyed, and the Triumvirate passed a law banning the paraphernalia of divination. They'd hoped to cover up their sins by severing all ties with the spirit world. Didn't work, did it? Merlehaven is a godless place, with a religion that tries to please all faiths, adopting pieces it fancies from all of them. Ironically, the chapel wasn't very welcoming at all, and was the site of hundreds of ritual executions that included anyone accused of witchcraft and anyone that spoke out against Mage Scrivener at the time. Merlehaven is not an island, it's a creature. There is no bottom to Merlehaven. If you dive downwards, you will see more rubber-like skin that looks the same as that which is found on the undulating hills. There's no question that Merlehaven Island is part of a sentient creature, but the problem is, nobody knows what it wants.
Sergeant did fire Higgins, then agreed to accept his resignation for his CV. On his last night, he started smashing through the corridors, looking for these hidden rooms that he expected to find. Mainly, he just found the grass outside. It caused a lot of damage.
You said you wanted them so you could draw still life. There's no life in a cadaver, Mordecai. You're doing something evil to them, aren't you?
You're like my dad. All charm and holier than thou on the outside, hiding the devil on the inside. He hit me. That's why I was in my room. I was hiding from him. I was too scared to come out.
How dare you? You needed the treatment. You're a criminal, Mordecai. I tried to fix you, and somehow you're still broken. And now, you're blackmailing me?
It doesn't matter how we're created. We're still human, aren't we? It was abuse the way they treated us, growing us like animals and then watching us die when they failed. We were children. We were still children, weren't we?
I guess it started when I accidentally syringed myself with ketamine. I knew it had hallucinogenic properties, but I'd never seen such colors. Medication to stop you being addicted to medicine. Isn't it marvelous, Mordecai?
We begged and begged Mother and Father for those kittens. But they couldn't just be any kittens. You see, we wanted them to be exactly like us, made exactly the same way. We thought it was that easy. Just wave a magic wand and poof, you've created life. I didn't tell her I was coming here today. I thought she'd probably try to drag herself out of bed, and she's really not well enough to do that. That's natural, though, isn't it? Lying to protect those you love? Fun fact, my blood actually belongs to my parents. You have to get their permission if you want to use it for any scientific purposes. But it's okay. I won't tell if you don't.
Let's talk about Marina Yoshikawa, a professional cleaner who was employed to clear and clean Gray's loft 3 times a week. He had given her 2 rules to follow. Firstly, the 3 cleaning days were not to be known in advance, and Marina was meant to turn up unannounced. Secondly, and this is more interesting, Marina was to only speak in Japanese when working for Gray. Fatefully, Marina turned up to clean on Halloween at 10 minutes past 4. She remembers distinctly because the door had been bolted from the inside, and when she asked in Japanese whether she should come back another time, she was shocked to receive a rude dismissal, also in Japanese. Mordecai had never spoken to her that way before, so she quickly fled, but on later reflection admitted to Justice Hoon it definitely was not Gray's voice. The voice she heard was not deep enough, and Gray couldn't speak a word of Japanese. However, we can all assume that the murderer could.
You know how they say, sometimes twins make up their own secret language? We never needed to do that. We always knew what each other was thinking or feeling.
But in those last few hours, I couldn't feel her at all. It was like she'd already gone. You're twisting my words. I never said she was holding me back. She was my sister. How dare you? How dare you assume to know us? She was my soulmate.
One day, Pip is going to rise up from whatever box you've imprisoned him and he's going to stab you in the neck, Chucky style. Well, you know, unless I tell him not to.
I'm fluent in English and legalese. Every patient leaves the manor completely under my control. But you're not. The undulating hills have turned you in some way. I want to help you, Mordecai, but you're being very annoying.
Caroline convinced Mother to change her will, leaving me as sole beneficiary instead of the Orc Society. Before we married. I'm not the greedy one. The young girl. Who is she? And what does she have over you? Whenever I see you with her, your head is bowed, and it looks like you're taking orders. The young girl. Who is she? And what does she have over you? Whenever I see you with her, your head is bowed, and it looks like you're taking orders. She'd stabbed me a lot. I was bleeding out, but she just couldn't kill me. She knew she was going to be in trouble, so we were just haggling about how much.
You're twisting my words. I never said she was holding me back. She was my sister. How dare you? How dare you assume to know us? She was my soulmate.
I killed them. I asked them for different wrapping paper. We hadn't run out. I killed my parents. Nobody will believe you. What will you tell them? That the Vice Justice is correcting people in her correctional facility. People don't care how it's done. They just want it to be done.
Well, firstly, I'd like Pip back, and then we can discuss the money issue. Feels powerful doing this kind of thing, doesn't it? I got a love letter this morning from a civil court case from Layla's family. Do you have any idea what that's about? Wouldn't tell a soul, you said.
She'd kiss me and maul me any time we met Kyoko. It was clear what she was doing, but Kyoko would smile, and then that's all I could see. Caroline drove her to the docks. That was the last time I saw her.
You know how they say sometimes twins make up their own secret language? We never needed to do that. We always knew what each other was thinking or feeling. But in those last few hours, I couldn't feel her at all. It was like she'd already gone.
A lot of people joke it's to improve tourism. And I don't like to talk about it because people say I'm baked all the time, but I can see them. In the mortuary. They tell me their stories, but I pretend to ignore them. Like Mr. Britton. Don't you just hate blackmailers? Tell people what you want. You don't have any proof. I'll tell them you've been stealing and abusing bodies from my morgue.
Well, firstly, I'd like Pip back, and then we can discuss the money issue. Feels powerful doing this kind of thing, doesn't it?
It wasn't kids. I staged the break-in. Her daughter said she wanted to see her mum's body, but I'd already eaten the kidney and liver. You'd think everyone was doing transplants by the state of my mortuary.
I don't want your money, Mordecai. I want revenge for what you did to her.
People kill animals to eat them, but they won't eat things that are already dead. Instead, we think it's better to spend all that energy incinerating them or filling the planet with burial plots. It's over with the butcher. I get that people aren't comfortable yet, eating their dead. But if we have the stem cells, Grandma never has to leave the table. Don't you dare say that. What I do helps them move on. Stops their spirits being trapped here.
You can't just ask me to leave. I'm in the middle of blackmailing you. You don't care, do you? I mean, what's your exit plan, Mordecai? If all this stuff comes out, what, you just going to top yourself? I mean, if you need help with that, just let me know.
It's a short hypnotherapy to make sure there's no residual criminal desire. That's also when I plant my kill switch, so everyone's in my thrall.
I have no idea where they are, but I'm sure they're doing something evil somewhere. I'd be more offended if they were actually my parents.
I think we both know what you are. So I'm giving you this one last chance to disappear from Merlehaven forever. Spread your darkness somewhere else.
Kim's finished her rehabilitation and has only positive things to say about the manor. Thank you for whistleblowing. I assume my blood settled the debt.
I'm born and bred in Merlehaven. A Merler. I worked in London for a while, and I've been to Kuwait and Singapore, but that's about it. Kyoko was the traveller. She's originally from Japan.
A Japanese couple were in the graveyard last week looking at the tombstones. They kept saying kawaii. I thought they meant it was sad, but it actually means cute.
Apparently, Layla's family have a source that says the drugs she took were mine. I wonder who that could be. Mordecai. I feel like maybe if you disappeared, they wouldn't have a case. I already paid them money. Did you steal my motorbike? I mean, you've taken everything else. I wouldn't put it past you. Now I can't even earn money as a courier.
Talked to your cleaner the other day. She speaks perfect English, better than me, but she says you only let her speak Japanese.
Pip's TV show has been dubbed in about 20 languages already, and I didn't do any of them. Not even English, so I get no royalties.
Monday said I would need to cheat to win anything without her. So I threw my racket and it hit her in the head. But that wasn't what killed her. It was your damn clock.
We were poor. The Johnsons had seen to that. I was too young to really understand what was going on. And they told me it was just a new type of chicken. It tasted forbidden. But it tasted good. You wanted more of it. And there was always more to go round. Kyra, your daughter. Who is she really, Mordecai?
yes.
There is one octagonal hidden room. I don't know where it is, and I don't want to know. Allegedly, it was used for sacrifices when the place was owned by a cult leader some 100 years ago. Don't look into it. It's icky.
Whatever you gave me to put in their drinks. It's scary, Mordecai. They're dancing and smiling whilst I'm incinerating their parents. You need to undo it.
He found him in the undulating hills. Just picked him up and gave him to me, aged 11. He does talk, you know, without me. And he says he wants to come back, or bad things are going to happen to you.
Spence is my mother's maiden name. My grandfather was Mayor Rickman Spence. I do not agree with his politics. He tried to drown my grandmother in the Aurora trials too.
No! That is not how I become the best tennis player in the world. You do not get to kill my sister and tell me I'm first now.
At the lighthouse, people have been seeing silhouettes. Grotesque silhouettes. It's that thing you painted on it, isn't it, Mordecai? It's a gateway. What happened to you at the hills?
I use an app.
So you can speak Japanese?
No. But if the app is running, it can translate what they're saying.
Can it speak?
Sounds a bit mechanical, but it has a voice, yeah.
I can speak English and Spanish, that's it. So, no hablo japonés.
I know enough to get by.
Ever spoken to Marina?
I don't think Mordecai would have allowed it.
Did you speak to her?
I mean, you should ask her. I don't remember.
Tell me about Tokyo.
It's the capital of Japan.
You've played there?
Twice, yes.
Learn any of the language?
I know a few travel phrases. I can just about make myself understood, but Monday was the language geek.
Konnichiwa. Doesn't everyone know that?
So you can speak Japanese?
Enough. My teacher was Japanese, so I picked some up.
Did you talk with Marina?
I never spoke to Marina face to face.
What about from behind a door?
Do I need a lawyer?
Rich and controlling, Xavier's mother had been paying Nurse Caroline to look after her son. And not just in maternal ways. It had been easy to manipulate his former years by telling him he had von Willebrand's disease and diabetes. But as her dementia kicked in, she saw him as a threat and paid her daughter-in-law to murder him. That didn't quite go to plan, though. Yes.
Do you know it's rained fish after they murdered me? So it's half worked. They killed Spence.
Yes.
Give this origami to Monday Finch. She'll die anyway, but this way she'll take it with her.
Did he give you a key?
No.
How did you get in?
Well, the usual way. I knocked and Mordecai opened the door. He had a lot of valuables in there, so I don't think he'd trust me with a key. We weren't exactly close.
No.
Have you recently bought anything from Daxon's?
No.
Work out at the gym?
No.
Are you a rock climber, Miss Sarant?
In the past, when I was younger, but not anymore.
But you still have climbing rope?
My dad had some climbing gear, but that's now all in boxes.
Yes. I have nothing to say about this.
How could you suspect poor little old me? Well, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Oh well. I'm sure you can make it up to me. Shall we see who it was?
You're the devil, Mordecai. Go back to hell! Ah!
Well, that's it for the Grey exhibition. Time to pack up the paintings until next year. I wonder if they'll ever solve his murder. Probably not. Anyway, you better head off. Unless you want to do some overtime?